the people podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP.
Every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Friday night, every Monday night, every Wednesday night, every Friday night, Monday night, every Wednesday night, positive thinking people.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's Monday, September 11th, 2023. So, y'all know it's a lot that happened on September 11th. My topic today is unpacking your past so you can move into the future. And so I want you to be with me, bear with me where we're going with this. But first, I want to give honor and praise to God and my condolences to the families, every family that was affected by the trauma of September 11th when we was attacked in the United States of America. And that was something that a lot of us never anticipated. We weren't ready for it, and it's almost like some of the nonsense that people will say. It don't normally happen in my neighborhood. No, it don't happen in my store or in my family. No, it don't happen in my country. But on September 11th, a lot of us was right there for a big surprise. I remember the day where I exactly where I was, and it was really. It was scary. It was scary, because me being a military guy, I saw a panic. I saw a disorder, and I also saw us being disrespected, and so it really touched home with me. I literally ran home from my job, go get my daughter. And all I was thinking about at that time, I was going home to get close to some weapons to defend the United States. Because I didn't know if they was going to be dropping out of the air. I didn't know if they was going to be coming out of the ground or what. But I was going to let them know I'm American. And if you bring it to my front door, you're going to get it. And so that's how I saw it. And being once a Marine, always a Marine. And I take great pride in protecting where my ancestors were a few years in my life before I became a product of the United States. So, again, the Twin Towers, man, I remember being in New York with one of my Marine Corps buddies to visit him some years ago. And I took pictures of the Twin Towers, and I have those pictures, and I will always cherish them because the towers are no longer there. And so I feel honored that I had the opportunity as a photographer to shoot the Twin Towers. And a couple of the photos are really, really nice photos. So I'm excited to even have them in my presence. But again, welcome to the People to People podcast of the DMV. I'm excited always to come to you. Shout out to all the podcasters out there. We have so many individuals out there that be doing different things, and making a difference in the community, for us. So let me just keep going. Hold on. Sorry about that. I was trying to check something out and get it correct. But to all the podcasters out there, my sister Cookie, Unfiltered, Unspoken, The Good Fight. We have quite a few people that have been calling me and talking to me in different areas about their podcast. we got some new individuals coming out to the studio to set up to do some podcasting. And no, I don't remember everybody's podcast name, but I support you regardless. I don't care. If we're going to be getting our positive message and information, then I support you 100%. So, with that said, let's move on. Unpacking your past in order to move into the future. And when we think about the past with 9/11, man, that really got us at a point where, going into the future, we'd be looking and saying, okay, anything funny, we see some planes or anything flying and not on a regular basis, we pay attention. And so you should do the same thing with your life. Go back to your past and don't stay in it, but remember it and unpack it, put it aside. When you unpack your past, you go through all the things you need and get rid of the things you don't need, and then you move on and move into your new place. It's almost like you pack and then you unpack and so you have to do that even with your past. You go there, unpack it, get the drama out of it, move, keep on moving into the future. So with that said, that's my topic today, unpacking the past to move into the future. I'm trying to do that in my life, and then I highly recommend that be something that you would think about as well. Going into the future, unpack your past. Remember your past. Don't live in your past, but remember it, and go into a situation where anything that's not really a positive influence in your life, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Okay. That's we had a rear view mirrors in our car for a reason. It's for you to look in there to look back and make sure you didn't run over nobody, or see where you was coming from and see what you're leaving behind. Some of us, you'd be leaving in a hurry, not thinking about everything that's going on, and you look in the rear view mirror and realize you just left a kid back there running behind you, and you're supposed to be taking them to school. That's what it's like. Sometimes the most important things be right there behind you, and sometimes you got to go back and get them, and you got to do things to correct them as well. Last week I received a phone call from, or I made a phone call talking to somebody very, very dear to me, and they shared some information about our past, and it really, really helped me, and I think that it helped him as well, for him to unpack some information that he wanted to share with me, and I'm still bothered by it because I know moving into the future, it is something that needed to be addressed. And all of us have something in the past that we need to just get it out the way, unpack it and put it on the table. Go talk to the loved ones, people who you have some issues with. Go talk to them about it and tell them, unpack it so you can release it. And you can either throw it in the trash, and if it's some good memories, pack it up and put it real neat in your heart and your thoughts, so that you can pull them out going into the future that motivates you and keep you focused on what's going on. For everybody that's just joining in, this is People to People, Power to Power, Positive Thinking People. The People Podcast of the DMV, People to People with Rodney Grimes. And I do this Motivation Monday. Let's talk about it Wednesday. And then we got Date Night Friday. It's a lot going on with the studio. I'm trying to stay consistent because I got a lot of things that's happening moving forward. And I just cannot, I feel so out of place when I don't, be consistent with the podcast coming to you. And hopefully, if I just be a blessing for one person, that's good enough for me. And I just take that and I run with it. So, again, I send peace and blessings to everybody out there, and hope, that things are moving well in your life, that, you can unpack your past and move into the future and be blessed. Okay. So again, this is your host, Rodney Grimes, People to People, and that's people that had their past and the people of the future. We thinking about that. It's very important that we pay attention to what we left in the past as well. I've talked to several people, and sometimes talking to them, I asked them about things happened in the past, and some couple of people say, man, just forget about it and keep moving forward. Don't worry about that. How do you forget about something that was so painful and so devastating in your life, in your history, that you going into the future, you kind of don't address it, and then you find yourself you not navigating properly, right? Some of the things we have to deal with, the pain that was endured by many Black Americans. Now, this is not, again, when I talk like this, I don't want people to assume, oh, it's always about race. No, it's not always about race, but it's about surviving, about knowing who you are, about knowing what happened in the past, moving to the future, knowing how to correct those things. So when I talk about that, I think about the opportunities that we didn't have and that we have now. So in the past, it's some opportunities we didn't have, and we have them now. What are we doing with them? Are we really making them work for us and making them working out to our advantage? I don't care how you look at it. We moving into a different time where God he has quite a few things prepared for us. We got a lot of acceptance going on now. Now we got a lot of, you look on the commercials. In the past, you didn't see black and white on commercials as a family. You saw whites and you saw whites. You didn't see blacks, but many years ago. And then when I say many, it wasn't that long ago. Let's keep it real. So unpacking the past, we realized that things are migrating into a new direction, and I'm proud of that because we got a lot of new blood, we got a lot of new energy moving, and this is on all ends that we have to go back to the past, unpack it, look at it, and see what we do to go into the future and bring the good stuff into the future so that we'll be able to come together. I mean, as people, I always say people to people, right? As people, especially as God's people, So go to your past and think about why you are traumatized about certain things. What triggers you? What's your triggers? Go there, unpack it, and look at it. Let me tell you something. I won't say his name, but one of my nephews, they told me something that just broke my heart. And I think I mentioned it last week. And it's still on my heart because I didn't realize in the past some of the things that I had said and did unconsciously that affects him in the future today. And when he released it, he unpacked it and he shared the conversation with me. It was just profound, and it was very motivating to me because I realized that I'm growing as a person, but he is too. And he expressed himself, and he told me how much he loved me and everything. But he had to get it off his chest. He had to unpack it, and so he can move into the future. And so I highly recommend many of you do the same thing that's going to see this message. Again, people to people. That's what we do. We bring in positive energy to you. I have so many people lined up, but I can't bring them into the studio quite yet until I've finished getting some things in order. Because when I come to you, you're going to see a whole different flavor. You're going to be like, man, okay, God is moving. That's all I can just tell you. I remember a couple of years ago when I was doing it down in my sitting room, I told you to just hang in there with me. You was going to see some changes. And then God blessed me and took me out of the living room, the sitting room, and put me into a studio in Tyson's Corner in the intelligence office there. And I mean, you talking about an amazing place. I mean, I get excited every time I go there because of the things that be going on. And why I'm on here, you might be in the area just listening, and you may be close by. Stat DC is right down here in the area, right by Tanger Mall on the other side in the parking lot across the street. They got food. So if you watching right now and you know anybody that's in the area right now, tell them to go over to that parking lot because it's a lot of food over there, a lot of free food. They're giving it away. I'm telling you. You remember, anytime I get some good information, I'm going to share with you. So it's literally going on as we speak right now. Right now, they are over there. So if you're in the area, it's about what? It's about 7:20, and I know they've been over there since 7 o'clock at least. We got the message. We were supposed to go over there and jump in and help, but I wanted to be consistent with my duties to the podcast and come on and share some information with you. So again, if you're in the area over here by Fort Washington, the Oxon Hill area, right over by the Timewood Mall, across the street in the parking lot, it's a lot of free food. Free. I mean free. Not no garbage. Good food. Stack DC is over there doing what they do. Miss Tanya is over there blessing people like she do on a regular basis. So if you have the opportunity to call somebody, call them and tell them to go over there and get something. And let's see, last time I was trying to do this, and people were, oh wait a minute, there you go. It says, I'm messing with something right now, and the last time people were sending messages and I wasn't getting them, and so it may be happening right now, the same thing. So I got to okay, I got to find out what's going on. But anyway, if you are leaving a message and I'm not responding, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because I can't see it. So that's something that I got to find out what's the problem with that. But again, I just wanted to come on and share some information. Also, I want to say thank you to Vienna Smiles Community Dental Day. Hey, from what I understand, man, it was a great success out there. I told y'all we did a special. We talked about what was going on, man. They said they had about 100 people out there, and people was going out there getting free dental services. September 9th. Man, kudos to them. Kudos to Dr. Vicky Wheeler. I want to say that that was real powerful. So, okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to, reach out and just tell you, some powerful things is happening around. I bring you the information as I get it. I want you to know this is what we do on the podcast. All I can just tell you, stand by. Y'all going to see coming up real soon. We're going to be having some real powerful guests coming in. I can't do everything right now because I'm doing a lot by myself, to be honest with you. And taking it to a level where, God said, Rodney, stand fast and just continue to move forward no matter what. And that's what I'm doing. Soon, people will see the purpose, and they're going to see that I unpacked a lot of things from the past, moving into the future, making it different program, people to people, for the people. This is the People Podcast of the DMV, but not just for the DMV. This is the People Podcast, period. We got people down in South Carolina. We got them in Texas. We got them in Alabama. We got them in Florida. We got them in Houston, and some overseas as well, And so I know right now a lot of people are like, okay, and everybody's doing a podcast. That's fine too. I do mine based on the fact that I have certain individuals that are dedicated and they're true supporters of the People podcast, and always trying to jump in and show their love and support. So again, the topic today, unpacking your past to move into the future. Please think about these things. You might don't want to sit on and listen to me talk about things for, 30, 40 minutes or whatever the case may be. But I can tell you this, if you pay attention to the topics and you go back and reminisce with yourself, you'll find out that a lot of this is very, very important for you moving forward, helping you to change things in your life, relationships and all. I've done that. I'm gotten to the point, man, I had some things in my past I had to correct in order for me to be able to sleep better. I've done it. And I'm getting to the point moving on where, I'm going to continue to be able to sleep and walk, not having to look behind my back or worry about if I did anything wrong to anybody. People that I've wronged in this world, I done already called them and talked to them, apologize, and say, yo, I remember what happened. It's your story, my story, and the truth. And so when I address them, you know, we deal with what it is. And so when you go to the past and unpack that nonsense and the things that didn't happen, you can move on. I feel very blessed to be able to move on because, I know I wasn't like a perfect person, and I'm still not a perfect person today, but I feel real confident about moving on because I've taken the opportunity to unpack some garbage that was in my past to move into the future. So, that's the topic today. Think about it. If you got family members that you need to get some stuff straight with, call them. Yo, just call them, say, I love you. You know what I mean? You ain't even got to talk about what the situation was. They know and you know. Y'all know what happened. So you ain't got to talk about it. But just call them and tell them you love them. I don't care who it is. Sister, brother, mothers, sons, daughters, nieces, nephews. When my nephew called me and talked to me about some of the things that had happened, I was like, man, now that I'm a wiser man, I was able to see it from a different perspective. And I'm so proud of him because here he's moving forward into the future, releasing some of the nonsense that's been haunting him, from the past. And I'm saying a lot of the relationships, don't wait till somebody's in a casket to go and apologize, or you be like, oh man, I should have told you I was sorry. No, tell them you apologize today. You don't have to use the word sorry, but you can say I apologize for what happened between you and I. So a lot of us, you're gonna find yourself in those situations. I got a lot of people. Let me tell you something else. So I've been learning a lot checking out the past. A lot of people sending messages telling me what people thinking and how people viewing what I do and this and that. And I was looking, I say, I look in the past and I say, it's not nobody can go in my past and say I'm a cruddy dude. They can't say that because I'm not. I already know. And so, but let me tell you what I did though. You hear it. They put a little something in your mind and you go back. And I just started unpacking stuff with relationships that I had. Why did I do this? What caused me to, what caused that reaction? Why did I say this? Why did I take advantage of this? Why did I put myself in that position? And when I think about that, I said, you know something? A lot of times unpacking the truth sets you in a comfort zone. Because when you're true to yourself and you tell yourself, you know what, back then I was this way, and this is the environment that I was in causing me to respond the way I did. I'm not like that anymore, And so, again, when you unpack your past, you have a tendency to be able to move on. I'm looking at the fact that right now, I just want peace and love and happiness. That's it. And I wanted to see my fellow man move forward. Black, white, Asian, it don't care. You can be Indian, Pakistan. I don't care. I'm at a point right now, all I want to do is just see us move forward as humans. You know what I mean? As humans. Because I'm going to tell you something. If we thinking about it, let's go back to the past. You remember when you used to go into the restaurant and the people would come over and wipe down your table and say, how you doing? Talk to you. You go up to the cash register. They used to be smiling and saying, hey, how you doing? Remember when customer service was number one? Remember that in the past? Look where we're going in the future right now. Unpack your past because you better check it out so you can see where you're going in the future. Because right now, when you go in to the stores, it don't even be nobody at the cash register sometimes now. I was just in the CVS around the corner from my house. Went in there, nobody at the cash register, right? They ain't even worried about you stealing. They got cameras everywhere. And once they figure out that you're a thief, they ain't gonna let you come in the store. They're gonna call the police on you or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna tell you what, the people wasn't at the cash register. You know what I had to do? I had to go up to the machine, and the machine was talking to me, telling me, asking me how many bags am I using. Oh my goodness. The machine. I'm having a conversation. Technically, I'm having a relationship with a machine.
Y'all better check your past. Look at your past. Look what's happening back then and where you're going in the future and how is it affecting you. Because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people are going to be out of a lot of jobs. If you don't unpack it and look at what's going on so you can go to your congressman and tell them, say, look, we shouldn't be moving in this direction. You talk about the people that you had back in the past that was really doing certain things for the community. It ain't like that right now. We got to look into see where we're going from the past to the future. Unpack it, and you better evaluate it. And you know how you're looking at, oh man, I was looking for this. Okay, and then when you see it, you're like, oh man, I could use this right now. You unpack something you found that you could bring to the future. Then you also unpack some stuff that you'd be looking and say, man, I don't need this. Throw it out. Get rid of it. You know? So unpack your past. Unpack your past. I was thinking about a friend of mine I grew up with. Reached out to this person didn't respond. I'm okay with it. I done unpacked it. Now, guess what? I'm moving into the future. I'm going to let it go. This is going to be the last time I even mention it. I didn't say no names or nothing like that, but it was a situation that I had to address. And now I'm done with it. I'm done with it. You know why? Because I unpacked it. I unpacked it. I looked at it. I evaluated my part in it. I evaluated the other person's part in it. And like we know, everybody know the truth. For real, whether you acknowledge it or not. But I realized something. After I unpacked it, I'm not carrying it into the future with me. You know what I'm carrying into the future? I'm carrying a positive attitude toward being the best I can be. That's what I'm going to do. And trying to open doors for younger people to understand what they need to be doing as well. So, if you was in a bad relationship, evaluate it. I ain't saying live in it. Evaluate it so you don't get in it going into the future. If you had a messed up job, go back and look at it and see why certain things turned out the way it is. Because a lot of times, if you evaluate yourself, you'll see the part that you played in it going into the future. You know not what to do. You know, I ain't doing that again. I'm telling you. One of the things I realized moving into the future, when you get into relationships, man, if you bring garbage from the past into the future with it, you're going to end up in the same situation, doing the same thing. Go to your past and unpack it. And look at it and just evaluate it. And the things that you need to address, do so. Don't wait till somebody's in their grave for you to sit back and say, I should have. When you can unpack that all that nonsense right now, go tell them you love them. Give them a hug. I have the individual who cussed me out over something very, very stupid that I didn't even do. But you know what I did? I unpacked it, let it go, and said, you know what? I still love you. And I feel good. And when I see that person, I can still smile, because I did my part. I know that I unpacked all that negative energy that person threw out at me. I don't have to bring that with me. And we need to do that as a people in this country. And I'm telling you, black folks, let me tell y'all something. Come on now. We point the finger, say this, that. Okay, we got treated bad. We did. But what are we doing right now? From the past and going into the future. We treating ourselves bad. We have to look at everything. We have to look at it. And white folks, let me tell you something. Look back at the past and realize why sometimes we running around here with all these mental issue problems. When we have to look at really what happened in the past. Don't just act like it's not there or it never happened. Unpack it. Be able to talk about it. Be able to, cipher through it. One of the things that I found and I got to keep it real. I'm going to just keep it real. With many of my white friends and white associates, sometimes I'll start bringing up some stuff that happened to black people in the past. And they'll look at me like, Rodney, that ain't happening right now. Move on. And let me tell you something. This is so funny, right? When I move on and I hadn't really addressed it, when I move on, I find myself getting stagnated because everybody wants to sweep certain things under the rug and not unpack them and discuss what should be thrown away and what should be kept. what should be dealt with and what should we forget. See, I can't forget when I walk into a courtroom and look at the energy, even from a black person who's sitting up on that seat as a judge. Because of the past, it affects my future. A lot of it. And that's because some of them haven't unpacked their garbage as well. And when we do that, we can start to see why we having so much turmoil in our homes and in the streets and stuff. A lot of us have not paid attention when we're having the past. We talk about the past. Hey, let me tell you something. The past will lead you to the future. So you start at one corner, you ain't going to stay right at that corner. You move to the next corner. And then when you get to the next corner, what is it when you look back? It's your past, where you started, where you came from. And during that process, you see people along the way. Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Yo, can I help you? Oh, can you help me? Oh, no, I don't. Yes, you know. And what happened? You'll be able to move forward, and you can look at some of the things you look back and say, man, I was a real knucklehead back then. And look at me now, moving into the future. And I'm telling you, here, us in our communities, we want to, if you let trash be all outside your door, guess what? You probably got trash also in your house too. Right? But if you go out there and clean it up and organize things a little bit, it's going to be the same in your house. And what happens is you'll look back and say, you know what? I cleaned all that garbage up. Now I feel better when I walk out my door. Same thing going into the future. Same thing. So everybody that might tune in, you might get this message. You know, it's Motivation Monday. Unpack your past. See what you got to hold on to. You know, store it away, put it in a frame, put it in a box, put a key, lock on it, do whatever you got to do. And then the things that you don't need, throw it away. Get rid of it so you can move on. Going into the future. I'm talking about we got childhood traumas, man. A lot that we haven't dealt with, that we haven't unpacked the feelings. We haven't let the emotions out. I remember talking many times about some of the abuse that I received as a child with my father, who was an alcoholic. He had PTSD. He was a retired serviceman. My father had been in the wars. My father was a pretty messed up guy. He was a very talented man. Don't get me wrong. My father was very, very talented. My father was black, and he's a Blackfoot. My father shared that, his mom came off a reservation, Blackfoot tribe, and my grandfather was Black American, and my father he killed the man when he was 16 years old, and instead of them sending him to penitentiary, they made him go into the military, and he had to stand there for 20 years. And back then, it was wars going on, so I guess they figured that he would die or get killed or something. I don't know. But anyway, he came home pretty kind of messed up, and we had to deal with that. And I shared that with you because it was from my past that I had to deal with some of those issues in order for me to go into the future, to find peace within my heart, to be able to even forgive my father for what he did. And then also for me to be able to move forward, to be a better father myself, and to be able to find some peace. I used to couldn't even talk about my dad without getting emotional. Now I do. When I think about him, I pray for him. I mean, he's gone. He's transitioned. You know what? By me unpacking all that drama, guess what? I wish he was still alive today, because I would love him. I would just love him unconditionally. That's how I would do him. All that punishing and beating and all the cussing and all the name calling and all that nonsense we went through. Guess what? If he was living today, all I would do was love him going into the future. You know why? Because I unpacked all that garbage that happened. I left it there. You know what I did when I evaluated my dad? I messed around and unpacked all the garbage and found some goodness in it. I found some good things in there. My father was a talented man. I remember when we used to get our house painted once a year. My father, I ain't never seen no handyman come in the house to fix nothing. My father fixed everything. He could build anything from scratch. And see, through all that turmoil, when I went and unpacked my past a little bit, I was able to find some blessings in there. Because I'm talented too. I got a lot of my father's skills. And I utilize them. And see, it makes me smile. And it don't make me feel bad that, you know, he was sometimes act like a maniac when he got that firewater in him. But what I do know is that, you know, after I unpacked the garbage and I ciphered through what I needed to move into the future, I'm a much better man. So, everyone that just tuned in, the topic today is unpack your past and go into the future. And I'm going to tell you, some of you have some things that you want to hide that you don't want to address. Well, let me tell you this. One day it's going to come out either way, one way or another, either while you're living or after you die, after you transition. I don't like using the word die. I don't think that things really die. I just think they transition and morph into something else. I believe that God has is a recycling process on this earth that's phenomenal. So that's another story. So let me see. So yeah, so I'm not being able to see the comments, but I see, you know, Ashika, Walter, Rachel, peace and blessings to you. I got to figure out why I'm not seeing my comments when I'm doing this. But again, unpack your past. Unpack your past and go back. And let me tell you something. Don't be upset with yourself when you unpack it and find something in there that didn't go well. Don't be upset. Sit down and evaluate what took place in that time. What caused you to do the negative things. We had people back in the day, man. We was running, getting high. We was running out here having unprotected sex. We was out here robbing and stealing. And when you sit back and think about those things, you'll say, man, why was I doing that? Unpack it. You ain't got to live in it, but unpack it and evaluate it and find out what was the triggers to cause you to respond in the way that you did. I don't even want no drugs. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, I'm in the public eye, so you know I gotta watch what I say. I ain't never really been no crazy drug user. That I can say for sure. But I ain't gonna tell you that I ain't never tried stuff. Anybody tell you that they ain't never, that's a lie. They done tried taking an aspirin or something, sipped a little bit of wine or something. I'm gonna tell you, in this country, because you can get anything you want right by the corner store. And it don't matter what corner store that is. Some corner stores hide it. Some corner stores don't care. In the past, when you go back, you know that certain individuals can do certain things and get away with it. And going into the future now, you already know. Hey, with the public eye, people see everything. So a lot of things can't be hidden. So when you go to your past, think about the things that affect you. Think about them. And put yourself in a position where you move forward and you be able to show some love and understanding. Because you know something, what I realized, your past gonna catch up with you. Your past gonna catch up with you. One way or the other. If say you was say you was drinking a lot of alcohol in the past. Going into the future, what happens? Going into the future, your liver start talking to you. The liver starts saying, you remember all that garbage you was putting in me? If you go back and right now, and many of us, even today, and I don't care, I'm speaking 18 and up. If you abused your body in any kind of way in the past, going into the future is going to affect you one way or the other. And guess what? Not just physically, but also mentally. Not just mentally, but also spiritually. You got to go back and unpack it. I was talking to my wife and I'm telling my wife, let me tell you something. What I plan on doing moving forward, excuse me, I'm unpacking all the garbage. I'm not playing no games with myself. If God allows me to live, my mom is 92 years old. If God allows me to live that long, I hope by the time I get to that level that I have unpacked all the garbage from my past, that all I can do is sit back and just be waiting to the time when I transition, that my spirit is going to be at ease. That's what I'm looking for today. When I move around, I'm looking to unpack all that negative energy. Now, we have different things that affect us. I'm talking about loved ones, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers. You know, we go back and look at relationships. You know, when we talk about the past, think about the past relationships that you had with different people or you saw even in your family. And then you wonder why you do some of the things going into the future. But if you unpack it and evaluate it, you'll be able to now say, you know what? That's why they did what they did. And I'm not going to do that because I can't bring that into my future. In your business, in everything that you do, go back in your past, unpack it. See what's in there that's garbage. Get rid of it. I'm talking about some people too. You got some people in your past, man. They still linger in your everything that you do moving forward. You got people that from your past have affected you in a way that what goes on today plays a big factor in how you move around. You got to go and deal with it. Unpack that garbage and evaluate what it is and then fix it. I think I'm trying to think of all the people that I had some issues with. I'm okay where I'm at today. I have no issues with nobody, not one person. Not one person could call me and say I haven't reached out to them, that I haven't told them I love them. Not one. I'm telling you that. I'm so proud of that today. It's nobody that I've even, I'm not going to say a brother passed away not long ago. They just buried him a couple of weeks ago. And I remember he did me dirty. He did me real dirty. He beat me and my wife out of some money. And years before he got sick, I had to go because every time I lived in the past about it, every time I saw him, I wanted to punish him. Okay? And I mean, I did quite a few times with a baseball bat and some other things. And I realized living in the past from all that garbage that he did to me, it wasn't helping me going into the future. I was carrying a whole lot of unnecessary energy into the future. Well, let me tell you, and he's not here to defend himself, so I didn't say his name. So I'm not going to, disrespect him like that because he's gone. But he got me and my wife for a lot of money, and in a situation that we was dealing with, and so I remember one day I was just praying and dealing with the past. I was unpacking it, and I was furious. But God said, Rodney, moving into the future, man, you can't keep carrying that. You're gonna mess around and do something real crazy and mess your future up. So one day I called him on the phone. No, I saw him in a grocery store and we had a conversation. He was like, yo, man, I know some things happened. Boom, 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 boom. He said, can we put this behind us? And I was thinking, well, you ain't gave my money back, but nevertheless, I said, let's go ahead and we're going to let it go, because it wasn't nothing I could do right there. Only thing I do is just do what I normally do, jump on him or whatever. And here it is, I'll be running if he's going to sneak up behind me and bust me in the head or something. I don't know. But I didn't want all that. So what I did, I put it in, I looked at it and evaluated, and then I made a phone call and I went and talked to him with me and my wife. And I was able to tell him, say, look, bro, I ain't even worried about all that. I need to move on. And I want you to know that I forgive you. I ain't forgot, but I forgive you. I was able to tell him that personally, face to face. And when they told me that he died, guess what? Let me tell you something. I felt a sense of relief in my heart. Not that he transitioned, but I felt a sense of release, a sense of peace. Because all the drama that was carried on between him and I had unpacked it a couple of years ago and let it go. So going into the future, I was okay. So what I'm saying, if you got some things that's going on in your past, let it go. Let it go. Unpack it. You got some people you need to deal with it. Move forward. Move forward with the blessing of God in your heart. Move forward not being jealous and envious of another person. Like I said, I got a few people, man, I'd have reached out to. I tried to help them. They didn't do right by me, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm not going into the future. I know that that's a rat trap. I know that that's a trap that I don't want to goddamn, excuse me. I know that that's a trap that I don't want to step on. So I think let me see. Okay. Hey, Rodney, read your comments. Anyway, let's keep the purpose going.
I read your comments. She said, I read your comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all got to understand. For some reason, my information is not coming up on. I got to find out what's going on with this right now that I can't see my comments being placed. But we get ready to leave up out of here. And I said, before you ask forgiveness from others, you must first forgive yourself. And that person that forgives you has a very huge heart. Hey, that's real. You know, you got to forgive yourself. Go to your past and dig out all that garbage. You know, like I said, there was some people, man, I did some things that I wasn't proud of. I had a real good friend of mine, man. We went to high school. Well, we went to high school together. Real good friend of mine. And something took place in my life that, you know, today I'm not proud of, right? And I really want, you know, we talked and I was able to tell her the truth, whether she believed me or not. But something happened that I know really hurt her, right? And so we got a chance to talk, and I unpacked the garbage and told her what happened. It still didn't change the fact that it happened, but it's still the fact that I was able to unpack it and release it. So going into the future, you know, I'm okay. And my book to be coming out about my life, all that's gonna be in there. I'm spilling it all, and it's gonna be some people mad too. Because when I tell them why I did what I did, unpacking my garbage, they're going to be like, dang, man. Now I know why going into the future, hey, these people like kind of like ducking and dodging, whatever. Hey, you got to unpack it in order to move forward. It's People to People with Rodney Grimes, the People Podcast of the DMV. But guess what? You know, we had some hats made, get ready to send them down south. And let me tell you something. We didn't even put the People Podcast of the DMV. We just put the People Podcast because we go all over the world. You can see us on YouTube. You can see us on LinkedIn. You can see us on Instagram. You can see us on Facebook. And guess what? You even can see us on Roku TV. Go to Tap TV. Tap Entertainment Production. Tap. Let me say that right. Tap. TEP TV on Roku. You can see us there. What I'm telling you is, before I tune out, go back to your past and unpack some things. And don't be afraid to go talk to somebody and get some help. Definitely don't be afraid to get on your knees and ask for forgiveness to our Lord and Savior. Ask God to forgive you for things that you know that wasn't right. And then call some of the people that you know you did wrong. Call them and talk to them. I'm just calling to tell you that I'm sorry. I ain't mean to bust you in your mouth. I'm just joking. You know what I mean? No, just call some people and tell them you love them, no matter what. You talking about something that's it lifts a burden off of you? Because I can tell you this, something that I know for a fact, you reap what you sow. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care who tell you that anything different. I'm gonna tell you what I know. When you talk to the real wise man and the real wise woman, he gonna tell you reap what you sow. What you packed in the past, if you don't unpack it right and make it right, is going with you into the future. And you have to deal with it. So, if everybody just tuned in, unpack your topic today. The topic today is unpacking your past to move into the future. Unpack your past drama. Unpack that garbage. Put it aside. Don't hold. It's it's not one perfect person on this earth for us to be looking and trying to pass judgment on somebody. It's a lot of us in the closet with a lot of garbage that we weren't able to tell other people. So, I just want to tell you, don't forget what happened in your past. Don't forget about it. Every now and then, you got to go back and remember how I was, what it was like, why I did what I did. Going into the future, you're able to say, you know what? I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to do that again. Or you'll be able to talk to your children or your grandchildren. And that's something else that I want to tell you before I go. I got 2 minutes. Something else I'm going to tell you. You know that what happens in your past can affect your future for your loved ones? The way that God got it set up, you can do a lot of garbage that you may not think caught up with you. But if you don't straighten it out, your children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they'll pay for it. And you don't want that. You don't want your grandchildren to pay for the garbage that you did. What you want them to do is be able to move to the future where you done unpacked all that garbage and kicked it to the curb, got rid of it. You apologized. You went back and said, you know what? I'm asking your forgiveness, so I forgive you, so we can move into the future. I'm telling you, and black folks, let me tell you something. Stop just looking back at the past, at all the garbage that we went through, and look at where you're going in the future, so you don't bring a lot of garbage into the future with you, because you can make a difference too. We killing each other like it's nothing. We can look back and all the garbage that was done to us. Now going into the future, look what we're doing to each other. We got to stop it. We got to find a way to make it right. And we ain't the only ones that kill each other. No, that's not true. But guess what? I can tell you, we the only ones that's doing it at a rate that's being noticed. Let us go to the past, find out why things are the way they are, and make it so that when we go into the future, we can change it. Let's just get to a point where, we unpack all that garbage, unpack it, unpack it, and go to a point where, you know what, going into the future, you can go and just smile and be happy and see some people wave at them. Even the people that did you wrong, you can go to them and say, yo, man, I ain't worried about that. I unpacked all that stuff and left that back there. And when they say, well, can I get a ride to the bus station? You be saying, nah, bro, I mean, I'm not going that way. The reason why, because you might unpack it, but you forgot. You ain't forgot. You be like, I ain't gonna do that again, bro. Last time I gave you a ride, it was some stuff missing out my car. Hey, I love you. Peace and blessings to you. Let's do what we do and let us go to the past, unpack all that garbage, and move into the future and be blessed. This is People to People, Power to Power, positive thinking people. I love you. Peace and blessings.
Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Every Monday night.
Every Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Friday.
Every Monday night.
Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Friday day
Every
night.
Monday night.
Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Unpacking. Go into your future and be blessed.